What it is, guys, we're back out again with another video, and today's video is going to be about Unordinary, specifically about the character John and how, in my opinion, he's completely in the right. The first question that should pop into your head is, what do you mean by right? What I specifically mean is that John is first justified in his actions, second, that the means he uses are correct and justified, and third, the outcomes are also favorable. Most people I've interacted with do agree with the first part, but they disagree with either the second part or the third part of what I just said. But I still must go in order, so how is John justified? If you've read the story, you know that John has been bullied every day by people that are stronger than him, people that actually have power, started the series at least, while the people with power ignore it, and even if they are there physically, right in front of it seeing it, they do nothing. By itself, in my opinion, would make him justified to get back to
You got a family, Phil?
However, that's not what makes John tick. What makes him act is being pushed by everybody. Arlo pretending to be his friend and then brings him to be attacked. Then Serafina, his only friend at this point, when his powers are lost, is kidnapped by mid-tiers. So not only does he have beef with top tiers, he also has beef with low tiers, who are usually the ones that are bullying him, as well as mid tiers for what they're doing to Sarah. Alright, the society as we know it is that the strong oppress the weak, which goes along with the mentality that most people have, and that's being, if I'm stronger than you, you are wrong and I am right. So John taking action against them to achieve his goals is completely justified by just the societal standards that is in this universe as it is right now. We even notice by Arlo, who admonishes him for not joining the hierarchy if he does have power. However, means that he is using justified. Well, as I said before, looking at a societal standpoint, this is how things work normally. What society has taught the people in this universe is that the weak should obey the strong. If John proved that he is the strongest, they have to listen, and if they don't listen, they better be ready for a fight. People will say against this that he is somehow, quote, going too far. However, if we analyze the story as it is, that is completely incorrect. But even if we do concede that he does go too far, that would make everybody go too far, so it wouldn't mean anything in the grand scheme of things. Obviously, the question is, how is it incorrect that he's not going too far? Well, I'm glad you asked. So first, pay attention to the top corner because I'm going to have a death counter. In the first 5 chapters, John gets his arm broken and then almost dies from being thrown out the window. If he was not skilled enough to throw his opponent out the window, he would have either been 1, literally crippled, or 2, died on the spot. This is not even to mention his threat of killing John from before as support of this notion. After all the information that you will see compiled, you'll understand it is not hyperbole at all. This guy's ability is to increase his durability as well as his attack. Serafina, without even knowing this guy's ability, which amps his durability again, sent him flying and he starts bleeding from the head. If he had not had this amp to his durability, he more than likely would have died on the spot. The head isn't as durable as most of the body, and given that his ability amps itself to the point that John, a trained martial artist by the way, arm is broken in 1 shot, the margin is significant enough to be beyond athletic human level from base. This would mean that he either would have brain damage or he would have died on the spot. Death toll 2. Moving on to the turf wars, Blight fires a beam, but that beam is narrowly avoided, costing his opponent a lot of mobility. Knowing this, Blight goes right for this guy and has the beam trained on his chest. The beam, by the way, has consistently been shown to pierce through enemies, alright? So it pierces through. It's trained on his chest. If this had hit, he would have died on the spot. Death toll 3. In the same turf war, in Arlo's fight against the person that beat Blake, the person that beat Blake hits Arlo's force field and gets a lot of cuts all over her body, namely her neck. Neck injuries have a 41% mortality rate. Keep this in mind. Arlo then starts choking her out, and any resistance on her part afterward would have caused severe cuts all over her body. Like before, more than likely also on her neck. Keep in mind that 41% would have been a lot worse, alright? Because you struggle a lot more when your life is mortally in danger. So she's going to be thrashing about trying to get free. If she hits the force field again, she hits her neck again, her mortality rate is very high. Not to mention the short of breath that she would have already. She has injuries on her neck and isn't able to breathe properly. She more than likely would have died there. Death toll at this point is at least 4. Let's not forget about Arlo. We have Arlo and the Goon Squad versus John. The claws have demonstrated being able to slash open John's arm, and these same claws are going for his neck. If the claws had hit his neck, it would have slashed through it and he more than likely would have died. okay? If John did not dodge, which they don't know how strong John is, he would have died. Death count is at least 5. This isn't all though. John on his first day of the school, bullied by 2 people. He is pushed to the wall and Seraphina walks past. She can stop this, but she does not, you know? Royals not having any responsibility, that'll be important later. He's looking away, is almost hit off guard, and this punch has been shown to crack through the wall. The wall is more than likely concrete, and to be able to punch through concrete, that would mean that that punch would have been able to punch through John's head. If that hit had landed, my boy John would have died on the spot. His head would have been putty, alright? It would have been Play-Doh, alright? Death count 6. John stops the guy from bullying somebody else, and this guy then says, and I quote, "I'm going to blow your face off." This being able to pierce the wall, which should also be concrete or at least hard rock. If John wasn't skilled enough, he would have died there as well. Death count 7. Alright, this is getting pretty long, so I'll give one more for John and then we'll move on. Alright, Seraphina threatens John for a chocolate cake. Alright, something petty as a chocolate cake, by the way, so you know, which causes John to tremble while trying to give it to her. He then drops it, and then Seraph proceeds to send him flying into the wall, where he is bleeding from the head and convulsing. He isn't even aware of his surroundings, or at least he doesn't look like he is. She proceeds to slap him repeatedly. This is dangerous to him. And now she's continuing to cause trauma to the brain, alright? This is a very dangerous sign right here. He needs treatment and he's being slapped. I'll give this half a point because he might have not died, but he would have been at least mortally wounded if not had brain damage of some sort, or have just been paralyzed, something of the sort, alright? So you know how serious this is. Even if it's not, it's mortal wound. Not even to mention John's statement at the start the series that every match that he's in, every fight that he's in, is a match against life and death, which after seeing what I just showed you, well, that is very accurate. And if this is every day, the death count would have been over hundreds if John wasn't skilled. John is by no means going too far, and when taking everything into account, he's probably being more lenient to the people that he's fighting than others actually. So he's being lenient instead of going too far. Prime example, and this is an enraged John, alright? Seraphina is captured, and all he does to the kidnappers is punch them at most 2 times and then kicks them. He does, of course, laser one and slam one's head to the floor, but the injury sustained is about the same. So the extent of his actions is 2 punches and a kick. That's all he does. Make it very self-evident that John is not going too far. The last part is the environment that John is perpetuating better than what it was before. Well, in my opinion, I would definitely argue it is. If we look at the school post Joker's arrival, anybody can get the fade, no clippers, alright? So now it's not the low tiers and the mid tiers now. High tiers can also get attacked. Now you have to watch what you're doing. You have to actually think about what you're doing. If you bully this one person, just mess around and get attacked by somebody, alright? So you have to be cautious about your actions. You shouldn't just be out here attacking people randomly, because if you're doing that, you yourself can be attacked. So all you have to worry about is not attacking, bullying somebody, or anything of the sort. You just have to be chill, alright? And let's compare this to what happened before. What was the society before, alright? If I'm weak, I'll get bullied by you just for fun, as we see with John, because there's no reason to bully John. They're only bullying him just because he's weak, alright? So if you're weaker than them, bullied. And now, if you bully somebody, you can get attacked. So you better just be chill. Scared of being attacked, and you must have been a terrible person to people, which we do see consistently. Once Seraphina does lose her powers, she was literally kidnapped by mid-tiers because of the way she acts, her cocky attitude, and the action that she does do, alright? We do see things that she does do are not always right, alright? As we see with the cake incident, okay? What she's doing is not always right, and she's just bullying John outright. Also show a weird reaction from Arlo though, that he does say that this is bad because you're attacking somebody defenseless. That's along the lines of what he's saying. So it's wrong if somebody can't protect himself, like a cripple, but it wouldn't have been wrong if there was somebody like a low tier or a mid tier, because they actually do have powers and they can defend himself. And we do know that the high tiers don't care about the lower tiers, as we do get that statement. They don't pay attention to them, as we do blatantly see that with Arlo as well. as well as the high tier that he's talking to. As long as it's not them, they don't care, which John is forcing them to actually take responsibility. Keep acting like this, you more than likely will be attacked, and if you bully somebody weaker than you, you have a possibility of being attacked as well. So you have to actually think more than you did before. In these three, I definitely do think that John is completely in the right. John by no means has anything going against him in the means of saying, well, he's doing something wrong or anything of the sort. So besides that, hope y'all enjoyed the video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a wonderful day. Bye.